Hello. What I'm about to read to you is the prophecy of Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 8, which I've been looking at since the 1980s, before the first Gulf War, actually. Back then, it was the battle between Iraq and Iran, uh, called the Gulf War. But this uh, I've been keeping an eye on Daniel chapter 8 since Reagan was president because I thought Reagan would become the goat to hit the ram and break its two horns, and which would be which I thought was I thought it was Islam. Two horns would be Babylon. The two horns would be Sunni and Shia Islam. You know what I mean? But now I'm thinking maybe it would fit better with possibly America attacking Iran. You know, being the goat from the West. Well, anyway, I'll read what you think here because I think this is talking possibly about Iran in our time, like I did 30 years ago. I've got a video of me reading chapter 8 and putting my own interpretation with it, thinking that Reagan was going to be the goat to attack Iran way back then. So it's kind of funny. Maybe I'll think O'Blamer is the he goat this time when I read it again. Okay, Daniel chapter 8, verse 1. In the third year of Belshazzar, the king of the king, a vision appeared to me, Daniel, subsequent to the one which appeared to me previously. And I looked in the vision, and it came about while I was looking that I was in the citadel of Susa, which is in the province of Elam, and Elam is western Iran, on the border between Iran and Kuwait, I think. And I looked in the vision, and I myself was besides the Ulai Canal. Ulai Canal. Then I lifted up my gaze and looked, and behold, a ram. And I think this is talking about Islam. Of course, back then I thought it was talking just about Iran. A ram which had two horns was standing in the front of the canal. Now the two horns were long, but one was longer than the other, with the longer one coming up last. And I think it's talking about Sunni Islam and Shia Islam being those two horns. I saw the ram butting westward and northward and southward, and no other beast could stand before him, nor was there anyone to rescue from his power. But he did as he pleased and magnified himself. And right now, no one can stop Iran because we got O'Blamer in the White House making it so Iran can get nuclear weapons. So that's what that could mean right there. I'm not really sure. Okay, while I was observing, behold, a male goat was coming from the west over the face of the whole earth without touching the ground. Get that? Not touching the ground? No boots on the ground? So if you do go to a war with Iran, it'll probably be from the air only. We'll be not touching the ground. No boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, the face of all earth without touching the ground. And the goat had a conspicuous horn between his eyes. Could be O'Blamer. We'll see. All right. And he came up to the ram that had the two horns, which I think again is Sunnism and Islam and Shiaism. Yeah. So this ram is probably more than just Iran, but it's also Islam. And he came up to the ram that had the two horns, which had been standing in front of the canal, and rushed at him with his mighty wrath. And I saw him come beside the ram, and he was enraged at him, and he struck the ram and shattered his two horns, and the ram had no strength to stand with him, to withstand him. So he hurled him to the ground and trampled on him, and there was none to rescue the ram from his power. So if this is a blamer, sounds like he's really gonna smash Iran good and break the horns of Sunni and Shia Islam. Then the male goat magnified himself exceedingly. But as soon as he was mighty, the large horn was broken, and in its place there came up four conspicuous horns toward the four winds of heaven. So, in other words, to all of the world, sounds like. And out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land, which I think is Israel. And I think this is talking about the Antichrist. And it grew up to the host of heaven, and caused some of the host of some of the stars to fall to the earth, and trampled upon them. And I think those stars are fallen angels. And it even magnified itself to be equal with the commander of the host. And it removed the regular sacrifice from him, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down. I think that regular sacrifice is talking about the abomination that makes desolate, standing in the place where it ought not, which I think will probably be like what setting up an abomination in the temple, the rebuilt temple. And on account of the transgression, the host will be given over to the horn, along with a regular sacrifice, and it will fling truth to the ground and perform its will and prosper. Then I heard a holy one speaking, and another holy one said to that particular one who was speaking, "How long will the vision about the regular sacrifice apply while the transgression causes horror, so as to allow both the holy place and the host to be trampled?" I guess, how long will this Antichrist thing go on? And he said to me, "For 2,000, 3,000 evenings and mornings, then the holy place will be properly restored." Probably at Armageddon. And it came about when I, Daniel, had seen the vision, that I sought to understand it. And behold, standing before me was one who looked like a man. And I heard the voice of the man between the banks, and I heard the voice of a man between the banks of Ulai. And he called out and said, "Gabriel, give this man an understanding of the vision." So he came near to where I was standing, and when he came, I was frightened and fell on my face. But he said to me, "Son of man, understand that the vision pertains to the time of the end." Now, while he was talking with me, I sank into a deep sleep. I sank into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. But he touched me and made me stand upright. And he said, "Behold, I am going to let you know what will occur at the final period of the indignation, for it pertains to the appointed time of the end. The ram which thou saw with the two horns represent the kingdoms of Media and Persia, where Iran is located right now. And the shaggy goat represents the kingdom of Greece, and the large horn that is between his eyes is the first king." And I think that's talking about Alexander the Great. "And the broken horn and the four horns that arose in its place represent four kingdoms which arise from the nation, although not with his power. And the latter period of their rule, when the transgressors have run their course, a king will arise, insolent and skilled in intrigue." And I think this is talking about the Antichrist. "And his power will be mighty, but not by his own power." And kind of like a blamer, you know. The only reason why a blamer does well is because he's got the media, which makes him so. It's amazing how he gets away with things, you know what I mean? So this could be talking about a blamer here. "And his power will be mighty, but not by his own power." Yeah, not by his own brains, that's for dang sure. "And he will destroy to an extraordinary degree, and prosper and perform his will. He will destroy mighty men and the holy people. And through his shrewdness he will cause deceit to succeed by his influence. and he will magnify himself in his heart, and he will destroy many while they are at ease. He will even oppose the